On our 7th wedding anniversary, I finally decided to divorce Ethan. It wasn't because I found ambiguous chat records between him and Chloe, nor was it because he abandoned me on a rainy street for Chloe again. It was because I no longer loved him. I spent 7 years of my youth proving one thing. In his heart, I would never be as important as Chloe, the one he always carried a torch for. He always said I held him back. Now I was setting him free, and setting myself free too. Yet, after we divorced, he cried and begged me to remarry him. It was a rainy night, and it took me over an hour to walk home. Exhausted, both physically and mentally, tears mingled with the rain as they streamed down my face. It wasn't until I took a hot shower that I started to feel a bit better. Today was our 7th wedding anniversary, and Ethan had promised to take me out for a candlelit dinner. He'd even booked an upscale restaurant quite a distance from home, 3 hours earlier. On our way to the restaurant, Ethan received a call from Chloe, the one he always carried a torch for. "Ethan, Jason is drunk and bothering me again. I'm so scared." Over the phone, Chloe cried, pleading with Ethan to come save her. Ethan didn't hesitate for a second. He pulled the car over to the side of the road. "Eleanor, why don't you take a cab to the restaurant first? I need to go to Chloe's place. She just divorced Jason, and he's a hothead. I'm worried he might do something to hurt her." "Don't worry, I'll head to the restaurant as soon as I sort things out with her." Before I could even respond, he rushed off towards Chloe's house, his concern for her obvious. This wasn't the first time he'd abandoned me on a rainy street. Ever since Chloe moved to this city 2 years ago, one call from her was all it took for Ethan to drop everything and go to her. Even though Ethan knew that Chloe, the one he always carried a torch for, was already married, he still couldn't forget her. I had argued with him about this countless times, but always did as he pleased. The saying is true, when someone doesn't truly care about you, they won't consider your feelings. I waited for him at the restaurant for an hour, calling him repeatedly, but his phone was always off. At first, I worried he might be in trouble. Later, I saw Chloe's social media post. It was a picture of 2 hands clasped tightly together. The caption read, "With you, I'm not afraid of anything." One of the hands had a faint scar. It was Ethan's. At that point, I let out a self-deprecating laugh. And here I was, worried Ethan might be in trouble. In that moment, I completely gave up on Ethan. Looking at the candlelit dinner we had booked, I felt like a complete joke. 7 years. Eleanor, it's time to wake up. Stop clinging to a man whose heart isn't with you. I cried as I left the restaurant, walking home through the rain. After a hot shower, I took out the divorce papers I had prepared long ago. In truth, I had never had the courage to give the divorce papers to Ethan. I had planned to have a serious talk with Ethan on our anniversary tonight. Our relationship had serious issues. I wanted him to cut ties with Chloe, or choose a time to announce our marriage. But his actions tonight sealed my decision to divorce. Years of disappointment and grievance had accumulated to their limit. It was time to end things. His one he always carried a torch for was already divorced. If he agreed to divorce me smoothly, he could finally marry her. That should make him very happy, right? If he refused to sign, I was prepared to pursue a contested divorce. At 11 o'clock that night, Ethan returned. He was drunk and paused when he saw me sitting on the bed. Then, with an apologetic expression, he said to me, "Eleanor, I'm sorry, Before he could finish, I waved my hand, cutting him off. "You've had a lot to drink tonight, and you have promotional events tomorrow. You should rest. Here's a document, please sign it." I Ned the divorce papers to the final signature line. He didn't hesitate, signing it directly. "Eleanor, you're the best. I knew you'd understand. Our candlelit dinner, I'll definitely make it up to you next time I have a moment." After signing, he kissed me and then went to wash up. He didn't look at the contents of the document, mainly because over the years, as his personal attorney, I had handled so many of his affairs that he trusted I wouldn't harm him. I put away the divorce papers, letting out a sigh of relief. This way, I wouldn't have to go through the troublesome process of a contested divorce. After the 1-month cooling-off period, for divorce, we could divorce smoothly. A month from now, he would no longer be in my world. In the shower, Ethan hummed a tune as he washed. I was even looking forward to seeing his reaction when he realized our marriage was over. Ethan and I were college classmates. In college, he was the big man on campus. He was handsome, could dance and sing, attracting many girls who pursued him. I was one of the many girls who chased after him. Unfortunately, his heart belonged to someone else, and he politely rejected all the girls who pursued him. Later, when I graduated from college, my parents' business was mainly overseas, and they wanted me to move abroad with them. I was hesitant. That night, while I was clearing my head at the riverfront, I saw Ethan, who was also there. He had been drinking heavily, his eyes were red and swollen, as if he'd been crying. After seeing me, he walked straight over. "Eleanor, do you still like me? If you still like me, let's go register our marriage tomorrow." I was stunned. I had no idea what had gotten into him. You see, when I was pursuing him fiercely before, he wouldn't even give me a glance. Now that we'd graduated, he suddenly said something like that to me, making my heart race and leaving me feeling like I was dreaming. Are you drunk? Come on, old friend, don't joke around. It's windy by the riverfront, you should go home. As soon as my stammered words finished, he grabbed me and kissed me fiercely. My mind went blank at the time, it was only afterwards that I noticed my lips felt a bit swollen. "Tomorrow, we'll register our marriage. From now on, you're my woman." He said this possessively, then left me, dizzy and bewildered. Later, I found out that on that very day, Chloe, the one he always carried a torch for, had married a wealthy second-generation heir. He was feeling self-destructive and just married anyone. That night, in his eyes, I was nothing more than a substitute. I spent that night feeling anxious and uncertain, afraid Ethan was just confused from drinking, worried he was simply playing a trick on me. But when he came to me the next day to register our marriage, I realized he was serious about marrying me. I was so happy I nearly went crazy. We didn't have a wedding, we simply registered our marriage, not telling anyone. He said he wanted to enter the entertainment industry, so we would have a secret marriage for now. Once he achieved fame and success, he would introduce me to everyone publicly and give me a grand wedding. I believed him. I declined my parents' request for me to move abroad with them and didn't tell them that Ethan and I were married. With the help of my parents' connections, I joined the largest law firm in the area, becoming Ethan's personal attorney. I helped him resolve many difficult issues and used my parents' connections to remove many obstacles for him. In just a few years, he made a name for himself in the entertainment industry, steadily rising to fame. In our third year of marriage, he won the Best Award. I was happy for him, looking forward to him fulfilling his promise and announcing to everyone that I was his wife. He said, "Eleanor, just wait a little longer. I have 2 movies coming out soon, and announcing our marriage now might upset my fans." I was a little disappointed but told him I understood. I wanted to have a child, but he said with great difficulty, "We're still young, and our careers are on the rise. Let's wait a bit longer." So, I kept waiting. Until moved to our city. When learned that Chloe was unhappy in her marriage, he felt a pang of sympathy. When he found out Chloe's husband frequently abused her, Ethan was furious. It was then that I truly understood the place Chloe held in Ethan's heart. Later, Ethan wanted me to help Chloe with her divorce case. I agreed. My thinking at the time was simple. If I could quickly help Chloe finalize her divorce, she wouldn't constantly cling to Ethan, and Ethan wouldn't have to keep rushing to her aid every time she called. It took over a year, but I finally won Chloe's divorce case for her. However, Chloe didn't leave the city. Instead, her interactions with Ethan became even more frequent. Was this my own doing? For early in the morning, Ethan hastily left home to do promotional events. I cleaned the house, looking at the decor. I would be leaving in a month, and suddenly I felt a little reluctant. It wasn't because I'd miss Ethan. It was the countless memories of these 7 years, the 7 years of my youth, that I was reluctant to leave behind. Leaving the house, I went to the law firm. As soon as I walked in, my assistant, Zoe, hurried over, whispering with a strange look on her face, "Eleanor, Chloe is here again. She has injuries on her face, it looks like she's been beaten. Oh, and last night, the paparazzi got photos of her with the famous best, Ethan." This isn't the first time Ethan has been caught meeting Chloe late at night. The media is going crazy. Chloe's ex-husband, Jason, is claiming Ethan interfered in their marriage. Zoe was speaking excitedly. That girl had a serious love for gossip. Apparently, she joined the law firm specifically to satisfy her intense curiosity for gossip, as she could get a lot of celebrity rumors there. No one at the law firm knew I was married, let alone that Ethan was my husband. They only knew I was Ethan's personal attorney, which is why they mentioned gossip about him so openly in front of me. Since his debut, Ethan had been involved in countless tabloid gossip stories. But those were all fabricated by the paparazzi, based on speculation. Only the affair with Chloe was real. In the past, I would have had a huge fight with Ethan over this. But now, I felt calm. Glancing at the excited Zoe, I said curtly, "Do more work, talk less. In our profession, loose lips can be dangerous. Have you forgotten how those 2 lawyers were blacklisted from the industry?" Zoe stuck out her tongue and chuckled. I'm not stupid. I wouldn't say any of this in front of outsiders. I playfully poked her forehead, then walked into my office. Chloe had been waiting for a long time, evident from the numerous ladies' cigarette butts in the ashtray in front of her. Ms. Eleanor. Chloe stood up and politely said to me, I've come to you today because I want you to help me sue Jason. Even though I won my last divorce case, his compensation payments are seriously delayed, and he harasses me whenever he gets drunk. Last night, he hit me again. He's severely interfering with my normal life, and I want. Before she could finish, I interrupted her, saying calmly, Ms. Chloe, I'm sorry, but you'll have to find another attorney to help you with this. She was stunned for a moment, then quickly said, Ms. Eleanor, you're the attorney I trust the most. I really respect your professional abilities. I can increase your fees, as long as you can make Jason pay me according to the judgment and stop harassing me. I shook my head and said, it's not that I don't want to help you. It's that I'm here today to finalize my resignation. I don't plan to practice law anymore. I became a lawyer back then to protect Ethan. But now, I was exhausted. I just wanted to use this 1 month cooling off period, for divorce, to rest and relax, then leave this lace without any attachments. Chloe sighed, a hint of disappointment in her voice. I introduced her to another lawyer in the firm who specialized in divorce cases. As she thanked me and was about to leave the office, I called out to her. Ms. Chloe, do you love Ethan? Hearing this, Chloe first looked surprised, then smiled and nodded, saying, he's always been in my heart. And it seems I've always held a place in his heart too. I just wonder if he'll mind that I've been married before. I said softly, no, he won't. I can tell he truly loves you. I wish you both a long and happy life together, and may you have children soon. Chloe's face flushed slightly, and she said excitedly, if we really do get to that point, I'll definitely invite you to the wedding. I nodded, saying, all right. 5 For the next while, Ethan was constantly away doing promotional events. With 10 days left in the cooling off period, for divorce, I packed up all my personal belongings at home and shipped them to my parents overseas. As for our wedding photos and other things, I threw them all away. This house would no longer bear any trace of me. When moved in later, I figured she wouldn't want to see my wedding photos with Ethan either. It would save her the trouble, so it was better if I dealt with it myself beforehand. After finishing all that, I went to Ethan's studio to inform their legal team that his cases would no longer be transferred to me. I wouldn't be handling his affairs anymore. As I arrived at Ethan's studio, I happened to see Ethan and Chloe walking in, holding hands and chatting cheerfully. The moment he saw me, Ethan's smile froze. He quickly let go of Chloe's hand. Ms. Eleanor, when did you arrive? Chloe, oblivious to Ethan's discomfort, stepped forward and thanked me. Thanks to the lawyer you recommended last time, the court has already enforced the judgment against Jason. I was just telling Ethan that we should thank you properly. Are you free tonight? Let's have dinner together. I glanced at the flustered and guilty Ethan, then smiled and said, no need, I have other plans. We can do it another time. With that, I walked straight out. That evening, after Ethan returned home, he placed a cake and gifts in front of me. Eleanor, I wasn't home for your birthday last time, so let me make it up to you tonight. This cake was custom made, and this set of high-end makeup and custom-made dress were brought back by a friend from overseas. I simply hummed in response. He sat beside me, putting his arm around my waist, and said gently with a guilty look, Eleanor, Chloe insisted on coming to the studio with me today. Please don't be mad. Don't worry, once my 2 movies are released next year, I'll announce our marriage publicly. I promise I won't stand you up this time. I nodded and said, your career comes first. I can wait. Hearing me say that, he seemed to relax. Before he could say anything else, his phone rang. After seeing the caller ID, his expression subtly changed. He cleared his throat and went to the balcony to answer the call. It must have been Chloe calling. If it were a work call, he wouldn't hide it from me. A few minutes later, he hung up and, with another apologetic look, said to me, Eleanor, the company has an urgent matter that requires me to go out of town. So, I generously said, go ahead and take care of it. Don't worry about me. It's not too late to celebrate my birthday another time. His apologies had appeared before me countless times over the years. Sometimes I couldn't even tell if he was bringing his superb acting skills into his real life. He kissed me gratefully and said, "My is the best. Oh, by the way, I heard you resigned from the law firm?" I said casually, I was too tired, I wanted to rest. Ethan smiled and said, "It's good to rest. You've worked so hard these past years, laboring over my affairs. Now my studio's legal team can handle things on their own. From now on, I'll take care of you, Eleanor. I forced a smile and said nothing more. Ethan didn't notice that all my personal belongings were gone from the house, or that our wedding photos were missing, until he left. Perhaps, in his heart, this home was merely a temporary harbor. That evening, I saw Chloe's social media post again. It was another picture of two hands clasped together. The caption read, "Watching the sunrise with you, watching the sunset with you, by your side day and night." The social media post's location was set out of town. Ethan hadn't gone out of town for company business, he had gone on a trip with Chloe. 6 On the last day of the cooling-off period for divorce, Ethan returned from out of town. He called, his voice hurried, "Eleanor, where are you? Why are so many things missing from the house? Our wedding photos, your belongings, they're all gone, you." Before he could finish, I cut him off and said, "Do you remember the place where we met on the night we graduated from college?" Hearing this, he quickly said, "Eleanor, please don't do anything foolish. Wait for me, I'm coming right away." I stood by the riverfront, letting the breeze blow over me, quietly waiting. Over half an hour later, Ethan came running over in a hurry. Seeing me standing there in the breeze, Ethan let out a sigh of relief. He took my hand, saying nervously, "Eleanor, the house." I said casually, "I took the wedding photos to be reframed. I packed up my things and sent them to my parents overseas. They're getting older and have been ill recently, so I need to go stay with them for a while." If he had even a shred of care for me in his heart, he would have noticed the flaws in that lie. Instead, he let out a long breath and said with a smile, "Of course, you should definitely go see your parents. If I weren't so busy with work lately, I'd want to go with you. But, don't stay abroad too long, I'll miss you." In the past, I would have been happy to hear his sweet words. But now, my heart was unmoved. I even felt a little nauseous. I looked at the river and said, "Do you remember what happened here all those years ago?" Ethan smiled and said, "Of course I remember. The stunned, bewildered look on your face when I proposed to you, I'll never forget it, it was so cute." "Darling, that wasn't cute, that was foolishness. If I could do it over, I would never have agreed to marry you." I took a deep breath and said to him, "It's been a long time since I visited our alma mater. Let's go see it." Ethan seemed a little hesitant, saying, "Eleanor, I've been running around endlessly out of town these past few days. I'm a bit tired." I said calmly, "Then you go back and rest. I'll just go walk around the college campus by myself. This departure would likely be permanent." Before leaving, I wanted to savor the memories of my youth one last time. Ethan quickly changed his tune, saying, "Tired or not, if Eleanor wants to go back to campus, of course I'll go with you. Wouldn't want some handsome guy to steal my wife." I smiled and turned, walking towards the college campus. 7 That day, Ethan and I strolled around the college campus, wearing sunglasses, masks, and hats. The library, the cafeteria, the dorms, and so on. I visited every place that held memories of my youth. "Eleanor, you even sent me a love letter in the library back then, didn't you? I still remember it. At the cafeteria, you accidentally spilled soup on me when you were getting food. My friends even said your way of pursuing me was creative, trying to intentionally get my attention." The dorms, I really miss them. Back then, my buddies and I would hang out, chat, and the room would reek of smelly feet. Now, they've all gone their separate ways and don't keep in touch anymore. It's truly a shame. Ethan excitedly recounted past events, and I listened quietly. The memories of youth are unforgettable. Even if he would no longer be a part of my life, the years of my youth couldn't be erased. Memer. IES can be truly painful. Only time could slowly heal the wounds in my heart. I just hoped that after I left, I would no longer have any contact with Ethan. Late at night, after returning home, Ethan quickly fell asleep after washing up. He must have been exhausted after traveling with Chloe for the past few days. I picked up his phone and unlocked it. The password was Chloe's birthday. I had known that for a long time. I held his phone and scrolled through his photo album. There were pictures of him and Chloe on their trip, and he was smiling so dotingly and brightly. Even when we took our wedding photos, he never smiled like that. I used to think he was aloof and didn't like to smile, but later I realized he only smiled so radiantly in front of the person he loved. His chat messages with Chloe were very intimate, and I didn't even bother to scroll through them. I used his phone to record a video of myself. "Ethan, after tonight, our marriage is officially over. The divorce papers are on the bedside table, you signed them yourself. I'm moving abroad to start a new life and likely won't be coming back. You don't need to look for me anymore, you can go and live happily ever after with your beloved Chloe." 7 years. I'm exhausted. I'm setting you free, and setting myself free too. For the rest of our lives, we go our separate ways. No goodbyes. We shouldn't have a chance to meet again. 8. I said a lot in the video I recorded for Ethan. I had originally wanted to scold him harshly and vent all the grievances I had held for so many years. But in the end, I spoke calmly, with little sadness or resentment in my heart. After completely giving up on a relationship, a person whose heart is dead won't experience much emotional fluctuation. I left before dawn. I boarded the plane flying overseas, looking down at the city below. It was then that I realized how small this city truly was. And yet, this tiny confined space had trapped me for 7 years. The moment I left, it felt as if all the chains had been lifted from me. I felt incredibly free. After arriving at the airport overseas, my parents met me there. I hadn't cried that entire month. But the moment I saw my parents, the pent-up grievances in my heart erupted like a volcano, and I sobbed uncontrollably. My parents comforted me and helped me explore the local customs and attractions of the country. Worried I might not adjust to life abroad, my parents even arranged for bodyguards and a guide for me. Several months later, I gradually adapted to life here. With my parents' help, I made some friends here, enjoying myself every day, and the wounds in my heart were slowly healing. Although I didn't actively follow news from home, Ethan's affairs continued to appear in international entertainment media. After all, he was a best, and he had a considerable number of fans both domestically and abroad. Not long after I arrived abroad, he was injured. To be precise, he was stabbed while trying to save Chloe. Chloe's ex-husband, Jason, got drunk and went looking for Chloe with a knife. He happened to run into Ethan downstairs at Chloe's building, and the drunken Jason then violently attacked Ethan. Ethan was hospitalized with injuries and was discharged over a month later. It was said that during this time, Chloe nursed him tirelessly. After was discharged, he publicly announced that he had been married for several years, and that his wife was me. The media, both at home and abroad, immediately went wild. Then, stories about me helping Ethan with many cases over the years, and photos of us together captured by numerous paparazzi, were dug up by many. I said it before, Eleanor and Ethan definitely had something going on, but none of you believed me. Damn it, I even mocked the paparazzi back then, saying it was normal for Eleanor to be with Ethan so often as his personal attorney. Who knew they had been married for so many years? Those two, they really kept it quiet. They'd be and treating us fans like fools all these years. I used to think Ethan and Chloe were having an affair, but now it seems I was completely blind. Facing curious questions from my international friends, I calmly smiled and replied, "We're divorced. I have nothing to do with him anymore." I had a friend help me post about my divorce from Ethan on domestic social media, and also attached a photo of the divorce papers, which again caused a media frenzy. I didn't care about any of this, after all, it was all in the past for me. But I never expected Ethan to chase me all the way abroad. 9. After several months, Ethan had lost a lot of weight and looked quite haggard. I had no idea how he found my parents' residence. When he appeared at the doorstep, completely ignoring the surprised looks of others, and knelt there begging me to forgive him, I felt utterly helpless. My dad said, "If you don't want to see him, I'll have the bodyguards remove him right now. We can report him for harassment, and with a little effort, get him deported." I sighed and walked out the front door. Seeing me emerge, Ethan immediately jumped up excitedly, wanting to rush towards me. However, 2 burly bodyguards immediately restrained him. Ethan's eyes were bloodshot, and he said to me with a trembling voice, "Eleanor, I was wrong. I truly realize my mistake. Please don't leave me. I swear I'll never contact Chloe again from now on. I've already announced our marriage. Everyone back home knows you're my wife now. Don't you want children? Let's go back and have them, okay? Don't leave me. I can't live without you." Watching him cry and plead, I gently shook my head. What was the point of saying all this now? "Mr. Ethan, we have no connection anymore. Please stop bothering me from now on. My 7 years of devotion, I'll consider them wasted. I gave you too many chances. My love made me too insecure, and it was so cheap. You only realize what you had when it's gone, but unfortunately, there's no turning back." Ethan said excitedly, "No, you can't be this cruel. Eleanor, you can't do this to me. Please forgive me just one more time. From now on, I'll do whatever you say. I can even sign a formal agreement." I gave a helpless smile and said, "My greatest wish now is for you to no longer be a part of my life, from this moment forward. Ethan, let's part ways amicably. Not bothering each other is the kindest thing we can do. Don't bother me again." Otherwise, what makes you any different from Jason, who harassed Chloe? Just go. Never meet again in this life. 10. Ethan refused to give up, so my dad directly used his international connections to have Ethan deported. I heard that after Ethan returned home, he became completely demoralized. The actor, not yet 30, completely retired from acting and left the entertainment industry. Chloe left that city. Although she really wanted to be with Ethan, his die-hard fans wouldn't have it. Many loyal fans gathered in Chloe's neighborhood to protest, and quite a few extreme fans started sending menacing packages. Chloe moved several times, but Ethan's devoted fans always found her and subjected her to constant cyberbullying. Plus, Ethan never brought up the idea of being with her, so Chloe eventually became completely disheartened and tearfully left the city. As for Jason, he was sentenced to prison for armed assault. Later, some said Ethan had gone mad, while others claimed he had become a recluse. But none of that concerned me anymore. Ethan, I don't love you anymore. May we never meet again in this life. Thank you for watching today's story. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. We look forward to hearing your thoughts in the comments section. Feel free to share your opinions, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel for more exciting stories. See you next time.